In my interdimensional psychedelic communication, I was told once, the creator takes the form of children because that's the easiest way to initiate and communicate love. I was shown how a child's innocence and joy is very often an expression of the omnipresent creative force that we're all a part of, how the purity and uncorrupted nature of small human mind allows them to be a perfect receiver and transmitter of what we're all made of and what we so eagerly protect ourselves from. It is the reason why children remember so easily their past lives and why without effort they see and communicate with ghosts and otherworldly entities. As we get older and as our minds get more and more contaminated, we falsely start to accept this physical reality as the foundation of our existence, and we're drifting away from our true form. That's why I was told, life and everything around you is loving. You just have to open yourself to it. Remember what it was like to be a child. Most of us remember this early uncluttered emptiness and vastness of our emotional sphere that was immediately and easily filled with love, joy, and hope. A child, in fact, is a literal definition of the 434 values. It won't be a surprise to anyone if I tell you that machine elves told me that a human is made of emotions that they were filled with as a baby and as a child. That's why it is so incredibly important to have your life filled with love, because you're not only improving your life, but also you're changing lives of everyone around you who is shaped by your frequency. Your vibration is responsible for the vibration of future generations. Machine elves explained this to me using the example of my father. My dad is an emotionally disrupted person with very little empathy and emotional intelligence because of being raised by highly dysfunctional parents. He's a loner and it seemed like he doesn't need his family or friends, but the entities showed me that despite being raised in an emotionless and loveless environment, he still needs love even though he doesn't understand it. He is the way he is because everyone has been turning away from him as a result of how he was shaped. They showed me the metaphysical image of his hidden true nature together with scenes from his childhood, and they said, who he is not his fault, as he was shaped by rejection. This image of personality in form of a hidden, vulnerable child is what they also presented to me when they were curing my depression years ago. It is probably one of the most significant moments of my life, and it's also the reason why I'm making this video. I've had many psychedelic journeys and many experiences, but this one particular insight stands out as the moment where I understood why psychedelics are probably the most effective psychotherapy medicine available in this world. This video will be important for everyone who wants to understand what the foundation of their struggle might be. It will be also for those who still deal with childhood trauma, those who one day will become mothers and fathers, and those who are already going through the training phase of being a parent. You need to know this, and if you feel you're benefiting from the 434 knowledge, sponsor 434 by joining Patreon or Subscribestar or by donating through PayPal, CashApp, bank transfer, or Bitcoin. It is quick and easy, and if you've never tried it, do it now. Thank you for your help. If you want to talk to me, use the consultation and support service. All links in the video description. I was given access to my inner child that was hidden deep within my 35-year-old body, and this little boy represented my true nature. He was lonely, sad, and stuck in a world that me and the environment created for him. He was lost there because of my attempts to protect him from the cruel reality of the outside world. Even though that boy was the real me, I built layers upon layers of concrete walls around him made of anxiety, anger, stress, imitation, and ego. Unknowingly, I put him in that concrete prison cage when I was 9, and he was sentenced to 26 years of solitary confinement. The most heartbreaking thing? He was innocent, and nothing that happened to him was his fault. That realization that we're victims of our environmental lottery is probably one of the most important realizations you'll have to get to in your life. Find the method to access this little inner child hidden deep inside of you. Try to find that which you're truly made of, because you're probably not your own creation. If you want to know more, I made a video about this on the Peterhedron channel called Your Life's Not Yours. Machine elves recently pointed out a very interesting analogy to how you're supposed to treat yourself as the person who is in reality the distorted image of your inner child, And they also showed me how your life is in fact your own child. Here's what they said. Your life is truly your baby. In the same way as you will love your baby no matter who the mother is or in what circumstances it will be taking place. In the same way, your life or whatever comes out of it, it's your creation and you should love it the same way as you love your baby. You'll love it because you created it. It's just a form of existence that you have to love like that child. It's the same. It's a very important observation because it seems that most of us have very little respect for who we are and what we do in our life. Most of us don't realize that our life and our personality is actually a very precious creation that we should be proud of and we should love no matter what. If you're ever looking for the definition of unconditional love, that should be it. You should unconditionally love yourself as you would love your own child because it's a result of your struggles and efforts. Everything you have is because of you dedicating all your time and energy to raising that amazing person. You need to ask yourself what kind of a parent you are to yourself in this scenario. Are you a loving and compassionate guide and teacher to yourself? Or are you a cold and ignorant guardian who treats their child as their least significant priority? As you heard many times before in 434 videos, Machine Elves helped me with everything in my life, and being a father is luckily not an exception. My first contact with Machine Elves took place 1 year after my son was born, and the entities immediately started giving me messages regarding raising him and me being a better parent. They told me that my son is a gift and that it's something that many people would give anything to have. One of the first messages was from the cannabis god who said, "Observe his growth and enjoy the experience. Be patient, observe, and let him grow. Your son is a lesson and he'll teach you things." This message instantly turned out to be accurate, as I quickly learned that having a child is the most significant process for self-education you'll ever go through. One of the most problematic elements of being a father was a huge boost in my anxiety levels. If you think fear is a problem in your life, wait until you have a baby and you realize that now you're not only worried about his physical and mental well-being, but your own safety becomes your second priority once you realize that your existence is priceless to this little, innocent human being you hold in your hands. I never worried about myself, but once he came to this world, my health and my safety went to the top of my list, pushing my anxiety to levels I never experienced before. I went from worrying about virtually no one to being responsible for 2 people, one of them being the most important human being in the whole world. As always, Machine Elves quickly jumped in, and the cannabis god offered this explanation. Don't worry about him, he has his own path. He came here to create his own things according to his simulation. Whatever it is, he is here to experience it. Your fear is of no relevance here. Your creation of his reality is a part of his path. You and your parenthood is a giant test that should allow you to see what you're made of. Your son should come out of this okay. And Machine Elves recently added, get rid of your fear for the sake of your son. Fear is pointless. What you're going through are irrational worries. Things that come true are meaningless because they don't lead to tragic consequences. Relax. Don't let the fear take over you and control you. Later they showed me an incredibly helpful vision, a mushroom metaphor to tell me more about the nature of fears related to being a parent. They explained, it's like everything until his birth was a mushroom stem, and then his birth was the cap, and that's what the rest of your life is. This big mushroom is your existence. The love to your son is the essence of why you're here. They explained that my life was made of elements, purpose of which was to eventually lead to me experiencing the most isolated form of love to your child. It is DNA level, unconditional love that is expressed towards a being that for many years can't return or react to your emotions. It's an exam for commitment and empathy. It is a test of what you're truly made of. And then they gave me an example of how it worked that I forgot about. I've been a big fan of comedy stand-up for more than 20 years, and about 10 years ago, that led me to discovering Louis C.K. specials. For most of my life, I did not feel having children is a good idea. His comedy convinced me that it is something I could do. That's how this mechanism worked according to the entities. Then the mushroom metaphor continued. So it appears that everything that happened to you in your life was a mycelium growth leading to the set of circumstances that allowed the mushroom cake to fruit. And that's the analogy, the birth of your son. That's your purpose in this reality because through him you experienced distilled love in the purest form. That was the only method for you to learn what pure love is. He is the rest of your life because love is your purpose here. That overwhelming, scaring love is your main purpose. It will be that for the rest of your days you'll be here. You do it for him. It's all about your relationship with him and nothing else matters. The fears are artificial. It's all about your love to him and you can't let him grow up in the shadow of your fears. Because that's what you're doing at the moment. It is absolutely true what they showed to me. The love for my son is the most powerful and purest form of love I ever experienced, and it is also simultaneously the most frightening thing that ever happened to me. The existence of these two conflicting emotions occupying the same emotional space is well known to many parents. As you remember, I mentioned many times that I'm not willing to test any other psychedelics for now after my heroic mushroom trip, and the reason is my sanity for his sake. I don't care about my sanity or my safety that much. It is his well-being and the fact that I need to be there for him for at least the next decade. Remember that psychedelics are still illegal in Europe. So when I ask for support on this channel, he is a part of that. I'm a minimalist. My needs are mainly spiritual. Money is a necessity forced upon me. But his needs are the reason why I'm working 12 to 16 hours a day. I want him to have a normal life and I want him to have access to a comprehensive encyclopedia of metaphysical knowledge. When I quit my job last year to upload videos to YouTube, that was a very scary and risky step for us. That's why I ask for support and that's why I say that. It is so that I can continue doing what I'm doing because the moment I don't have enough money for him, I immediately have to get a job and stop doing what I'm doing. I want you to know that your generosity is not only helping me. When my son was 2 years old, Machine Elves offered me the ability to look at myself through his eyes. They do it occasionally when they allow me to see the world through somebody else's body. It's an incredible insight, but in this case, it was very traumatic for me to learn that by being a strict father and trying to introduce boundaries into his life, I became the first disrupting and stressful element of his existence. For some reason, my son was born very angry, and because I was in charge of teaching him to be in control of his emotions, we went through a lot of confrontational moments, and I was shown that I appeared to him like a blue cloud of electrical distortion. It's quite difficult to explain. I had the incredible opportunity to see what raising a child from his perspective feels like. I learned that a baby can only perceive two frequencies: high frequency of comfort and pleasure, and low frequency of everything that is not satisfying. This could help you understand the feelings of your own baby. The entities described this vision by saying, all a baby wants is for people to have the same frequency as theirs. Their functioning is based on frequencies. That's the only thing they pick up at this stage, the energy and its vibration. If the vibration is the same as theirs, they're at peace. If they feel a different type of vibration in their surroundings, they feel it's a threat to their well-being. They see pain, hunger, and everything else in this way. As he was growing up, our relationship was filled with love, but it felt like it was becoming a struggle for the dominant role in the house. Many children do that, and we were getting into more and more conflicts, which had a very negative impact on my mental and physical health. Machine Elves eventually stepped in and said, "Stop with the anger around your son. This is ridiculous. Show love and compassion. He already knows you're in charge and that you're in power. No need to display it every time. Control yourself. Be nice. Show love instead of anger now. Remember, it's you in a different reality. You're hurting yourself in a future form. Imagine someone doing it to you. Take the necessary time to explain everything to him. Obedience is not the only option. He doesn't need to be obedient. If you think the purpose of obedience is your ability to teach him something, don't you think that you would teach him more through love? The things you believe he will learn through obedience, he might learn through other methods later in life." This was a very sobering message that completely changed the relationship with my son, and I'm grateful to this day for the entities to help me get rid of this heartbreaking problem. All of that happened around the time I started making 434 videos, and suddenly our problems ended. He became a very different child and things got back to normal. But what I considered normal had a different definition according to Machine Elves. As I started spending most of my day working on building the 434 community, Machine Elves said to me, "You're not spending enough time with your son. He seems to be lonely in his own world a little bit. You're too strongly focused on yourself. Your thoughts are mainly preoccupied with you and your needs. Think about your son more. Do more things with him. Listen to what he says about you. It was a very good observation, and as I started to pay attention to what he was saying to others about me, it turned out that his image of me is that of a loving policeman who only gets involved to control and lecture him in order to introduce discipline. It was a very sad revelation. The entities immediately offered a solution with this message. Your son connects with you on an emotional level when you do funny things together. The problem with discipline is that he might do it in adult life. You're raising him to go in the wrong direction. Control yourself. Discipline yourself before you discipline him. Concentrate on reacting in the right way at the right time. You're irresponsible emotionally. You're being cruel to his emotions that he cannot control. Show compassion and remember about it. It didn't occur to me that children take time to develop the mechanisms responsible for controlling their emotions. I also didn't realize that my son needs much more of my time than I was offering to him. The entities also gave me a very useful definition of a child's world as they grow up. It seems that it would be enough just to remind oneself what it was like being their age, but as it turns out, we forget not only the actual events, but also the emotional states that they create. And the communicational conflicts between us and them are very common when you observe parents interacting with their children. I was told, the thing you will learn about having a child is that you were waiting subconsciously for this connection with your own son, a copy of you. And it turned out that it is just another person you need to communicate with using traditional methods. It turned out that it's a normal external being that you need to use traditional communication channels to communicate with. It's a surprise realizing that you're using the same communication as everybody else and that it's a separate human being already with a colorful, beautiful life, and you have very little access to it because you're unaware of that whole world happening next to you. It's a separate world. That's what having children is about. They are basically whole separate worlds of existence you have very little access to. You have some temporary major impact on it, shaping him like a god shaped its creation. That's what you are to a child, and other than you being a god that has temporary moments when they worship you, they have their own existence that they develop whether you're there or not. It's important when you are there to guide them, but they do it irrespectively of your presence. It's important that you guide them because then they'll bring into existence beautiful, amazing creations. Otherwise, it will be just a random mess. It's interesting you have realized now that you need to redefine your role as a parent. You're just aside, not really taking part in it much. You're talking to him and playing with him, shaping his personality. That's pretty much what your role will be as a parent. It will be just that. Just additional side thing to what's happening inside his island, where everything is being created. You can attach yourself to it and impact it as you watch it, but it will develop anyway. It would be good to do more shaping activities with the child, what you occasionally do, but you could do more. Some of it will be home run, and some of it will become just a memory in later life that he will have to be reminded about. Even though we consider ourselves adults, we're still children in grown-up body. Deep down, we're still the same kids we were decades ago, and it is reflected in our collective immaturity of our understanding of spirituality, metaphysics, and psychedelics. We are aware of the existence of other dimensions, and we know that someone or something must be behind this magical creation and arrangement of them. In the search for the truth, we should allow ourselves to go back to being that innocent early explorer of the unknown, accepting and being open to the beauty and harmony of the divine order of things, even when they're beyond our comprehension. That's what a real adult would do. All of us are children of our environment and everything we inherit from our families and the society we live in, and we need to remember that we simultaneously also nature's, God's, and energy's children. Together with our earthly brothers and sisters, we create an interconnected family of curious explorers who are both students and teachers and who emerge from the same place and return to the same place. No matter what you think about yourself, we are all one. Love 434. Even though we're all children, we all have the ability to help each other. Please help me spread this message to as many people as possible and finance 434 through methods listed on the screen. Thank you for your help. If you want to discuss this subject with me, or if you need help or support, get in touch. Links in the video description. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Visit the websites of the artist and the musician I featured in this video. Leave your email address at news.b434.com. Remember about b434.com and join 434 social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and VK. Talk to each other on Telegram, Reddit, and Discord. All links below.